specific technical items that we've had to deal with regarding those entry locations. Certainly we've had some, I'll just tell you real quick, some of the changes relate to the townhome section. That's the same as what we talked about when I was here last time. We got a new builder in, Lennar is not building the multiple buildings, so we had to make modifications to allow for Fisher's product. It did add 3 more lots. There were some depths that were revised. I don't know if you guys have the things that changed. We changed a couple of rear yard easements per the town standard. We added some rear yard easements for a couple of the other lots, adjusted some storm and sanitary, and removed that dry pond. We found through more engineering that the dry pond wasn't even needed, so we've removed that. Those are the changes in the townhome section, and again, generally driven by having Fisher and their specs rather than Lennar. Lennar is still building the single-family ones that are doing the interior ones. On the main primary platform, the main single-family area, clearly the Whiteland Road entry, which we're going to talk about, and I'll let Mark go into a little deeper about that, and same with the Sawmill Road entries. We revised our water main to a 12, we revised the text to show a 12-inch water main. We had a new sanitary connection to the north. We added half right-of-way call-outs. We changed to the curb table. We changed the curb table to align with the new townhome layout. We corrected a 35.5-foot right-of-way call-out northeast of the townhome area, and then one street there was a typo that we corrected. And that was before we got an email today with some other small things, that just more technical things that needed to be added that weren't either identified properly. That we made all those changes today and recirculated a final one, which is the one you have in front of you today. It gets confusing with all these different versions, so sorry for that. But what we didn't want to do, once we got some comments this morning, is not make those changes. We'd rather make the change and send an updated one and make sure everybody has the latest and greatest. So that's what you have in front of you. I'll let Mark talk about again the 2 big things, which are the road entries. Everything else, for the most part, interior is the same. Again, we hope we get your support tonight.
Good evening again. You got the blow-up sheet.
You just left them all up here to me.
Is it okay that I'm up here? It'll be easier for me to do it here.
Yeah.
So, everybody's got one of these?
Yeah.
So, north is oriented here. The new culvert that is going in via the Johnson County Highway Department is here. The bridge project's down here on the west side. If you look in here real tightly to the southern edge of the, what we show as a passing blister is the gas transmission line. So after we got done with our meeting last time, we got in touch with CEG. We ordered a vac truck. Wanted to go back everything down on that south side. Had to wait for a second. Had to send the whole application in and get through the whole center point. Center point thing. We finally got through that. We're, I think, going to try and back down next week. I don't know if Tim's been in touch with you guys,
He has not.
but we want to try. We got to locate that gas line in order to do the application. That had been done by the highway department closer to the culvert. So we interpolated that information, brought it over, and it looks like we're going to stay off of the gas line by just a smidge. So the way we did that was by going to 11-foot lanes, and we wanted to again stay off of that in order to make it work. But our pinch point is the culvert. In talking with the highway department's engineer, Chris Bland,
Yep.
at Strand Associates, he indicated that there would be no way for us to add any pipe to the north on this culvert. So we got to squeeze in there. And so in working with Dwayne on this, we shortened the tapers just a touch on the eastern side of the entry. We have our path still going in where the culvert is. It doesn't show on this detail, but there will be a guardrail between the path and the street. we've got that on our plat, but not on this detail that we did, because this was just a working one. I figured we'd blow this one up. We do show a guardrail down here, on this side as well. So the whole idea is to provide safety for the culvert, provide the walking path over the culvert, get a passing blister in there at 11-foot lanes. The existings are 10'8", so we're still increasing the touch. And then we would propose to you that we do this as a project, that we would do our A-cell, D-cell passing blister project at least east of the entryway. Maybe we do west of the entryway, maybe we don't, but we do that after they get done with the culvert. This doesn't work without the new culvert, that's the bottom line. So we need to let them go first. And so we propose that we would performance bond these improvements outside of the typical just throat coming out. And we'll put the radiuses on that we need, so we aren't redoing curb and all that type of stuff. But we'll give you a little bit of a feather here, and then come back and do that work at a later date. So that's the passing blister. Any questions on that?
So I do have one comment, so you all know, Dwayne has been working with the county through that. As far as our standard calls for a 12-foot lane, talking with the county and going through on their plans, that bridge is only going back to 11-foot lanes. That's kind of why we had said something to them about that, just so you're aware on that.
So anybody?
So would you be doing these road improvements prior to any housing going on though?
Probably. I don't know, because it's the highway department. They say, you guys may have better knowledge, and we'll have these guys help push on them, but they say that they're planning on starting construction sometime late spring, early summer next year.
Yeah.
That's what they said. They wanted 6 months to get their utility relocates done, and then they would start. And if that's the case, then it might be before any customers move in.
Right.
But, we hope to still get black this year. We're gonna push really hard to get black, at least, a good portion of it. So then we'll build models through the winter and start houses, and it wouldn't be many people.
No.
If there are any, it wouldn't be many. So, and, there is always an alternative way out if we get it all paved, because we'll have that interconnection between Sawmill and Whiteland Road right out of the gates. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay. The entryway at the townhomes is the same. And as it was in the approved preliminary plat. So then the only other one is the Sawmill entryway, which we have as what we presented to you guys before, what we had presented in our original construction drawings for section 1.
C201 should be your entryway for that.
No, that's okay. I got it. The trick back here is the church to the north of us. And so we're going to go back to the traffic study, but traffic study indicates that we don't have a safety problem at this intersection. So we provided a modified taper in and out of that in order to stay off of the church's property. And not cause a big stink with where their parking lot's already kind of bumpy how it interacts with the roadway, that it's so close and such in that area. And if we wouldn't pay through that, then we'd be causing a big stir on that location. And for where we are with the 30-mile-an-hour road coming down through there, I think we're in pretty good shape. And what we heard from you guys through most of those conversations in that meeting that we want to forget about a month ago, it was, we're understood about Sawmill, but gotta have it in Whiteland Road. And I think we're there with the Whiteland Road. And again, I want to say, some of this is still dependent, this layout is on Whiteland Road is dependent upon Centerpoint approving it, obviously, because we're in their easement. But I got a pretty good indication from Maggie there, who we've done some other projects with in the past. And I said, hey, I just gotta know if this is approvable. And she said, yeah, what you're showing me makes sense, assume it all lines out in the field when you back it. I feel pretty good about you getting approved on this.
So I got a question, and I touched on it in an email to them. The guardrail.
Yes.
So I guess this is more kind of point of clarification and you can comment on it. So it is my understanding as part of the Johnson County Highways culvert replacement has to do with the size of the culvert pipe and hydraulic loading. They were not able to acquire the necessary permits from FEMA or whoever that might be, to be able to put those in there. So
Guardrail?
the guardrail.
So the only thing I could possibly think is that they're gonna let the 100-year flood overtop Whiteland Road.
I think that may be the case. So, which is absolutely insane. I don't know why.
Well, then I was suggesting that we would put a vertical curb in, a stand-up curb on, either side down there to help protect. And maybe we come back after the fact and throw some bollards in.
Right.
Or, although the guardrail's about the same. The difference between a guardrail and the bollards is nothing's gonna get hung up vertically on it. So with the bollard, there's free space in between. With the guardrail, you still have the 6x6s, if you will, and then a low setup there, which can then gather brush if you are overtopping that. It can't gather debris and start to clog. There's nobody down there that's gonna get hurt if it does clog a little bit, but I understand how it's, if it got clogged at this level, just to pick this, and once it got over the guardrail, it had free flow. That's not gonna.
Is that really what drives this?
It could be. I don't know that for sure,
But
but
if they're concerned about a guardrail being there, is that it will catch debris that will slow the flow of water going over the road?
So that is not what they. That's not what they had said
No.
specifically. But
The concept is something
that's ultimately the only reason, because I do know that they call it their emergency floodway is over the top of.
But even if it's
Over
not
that,
the reason,
the top of
it could be the reason.
Right.
That's such a thing.
well, it is such a thing.
That's the only thing that makes sense to me as well, is what
not-
you're saying.
So we can go back and talk to them. I mean, you already have, but we'll continue that dialogue with them and try to get to some resolution. We'd rather have a guardrail there from a safety standpoint if we can.
Well, that's him and I had that conversation.
But we
To
can
me,
do a
it's
stand-up
a
curb
safety
to
thing
help.
on a daily. I say the 100-year flood, every 100, but that happens about monthly now. But
I've never seen it go away.
One time.
that's when that's when the dumpster got jammed in the culvert.
So you all, I think, you know this, I think, but really need to give some thought to alternatives, right? I know in our conversations, the guardrail's a big deal, right? And that's gonna have to be something that you can do. I mean, I think what the commission's queued up for is, if you can't put in the guardrail, this design won't work. But I don't think we ever considered alternatives to a guardrail that would serve to protect traffic, but wouldn't catch debris. And you're mentioning bollards, right? So
Perhaps
we
there's
need,
an option.
right, I know, but what I'm just saying is this is the time to have the conversation about what else other than a guardrail would address the public safety concern. Am I framing that the right way?
I think that would be the easiest way to phrase it. Is it doesn't have to be a guardrail, something that is gonna.
Well, a stand-up
protect
curb, I mean,
safety.
how good is that relative to, I mean, a car's gotta get over it, right, to get.
Right. I'm a fan of stand-up curb versus bollards personally, because it's hard to get a car over a 6-inch stand-up. Now trucks are a little different because their wheels are taller and easier to roll over.
Can it be taller than 6 inch?
The only thing it gets to be then is we're also in that flood zone, then we gotta build it up. And so I'm just thinking from a hydraulic standpoint, if we're going to put a curb in there, is that gonna be a problem? Unless the roadway gets depressed, but those guys aren't planning on depressing the roadway, so it's something we'll have to work out technically. I think bollards will be fine from a flood standpoint because they're free flowing.
Yeah, that makes
right?
sense.
You're only having to worry about that 5.5 inches, 5.5 inches, 5.5 inches.
Could it be both?
Bollards and vertical, possibly.
A stand-up
but again,
curb and bollards?
The vertical may not work because if it truly is
Yeah,
another flood tank, and we
I
go
get
to
your
build
point.
it up to put the curb in, that build up is going to affect the flood zone.
Yeah, I get it.
Now, it's a lot of times they
And-
don't look at it that tightly when we're in this situation. I'm not saying we try to pull the wool over their eyes, but they just don't pay attention to us doing these minor things like this.
And what else could there be to address the public safety concern and balance it with the water? I mean,
The bollards are the
else
most
is-
effective. If the guardrail is, in fact, can't work because of catching debris, I would think bollards would be fine. And I would tell you, we'd go in and put bollards in 6 months after the bridge project is done. It's just not. The feds aren't much fun to deal with.
So I think it's a matter of framing some kind of condition that,
Some type of.
well, I don't want to speak for you, but what I'm thinking is that would allow for some variation in the protection for traffic in lieu of a guardrail or something else. But ultimately, if one of those can't be provided, right, then the condition can't be satisfied, something along those lines. That's where we're headed.
Can
And
we
I'll also
frame,
indicate to you that, I mean, when you drive in downtown Greenwood or Indianapolis or other places where you have a stand-up curb next to a road and then you have a 4 foot, 6 foot, 5, whatever sidewalk right next door to it, right? When you're in a
Yeah, it's
urban
vertical.
setting at a 25 or 30 mile an hour sidewalk, those things, those vertical curbs are there. And
That's what's
what
protecting the
what's
pedestrians,
designed.
right? Is that what you mean?
Yes, that's exactly right. Is that it's not, you know, by effectively slowing the road down, hopefully with the speed limit sign.
If somebody's going off over it, they're going over it.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's right.
Yeah.
But I guess, but I
I've seen
think
that
Mark's point
Saturday
is,
on a 6 foot tall curb with a great big ditch on Main Street. Some little car decided he wanted to park in the bottom. Everybody was sitting there with police car lights with records trying to figure out how they're gonna get him out.
Right.
Cause
well, but I mean, a reckless enough driver will get.
They're gonna get in there if they
guardrail.
want to.
I mean, you know, I guess, but.
Can we just say at least something more, I think, broad, just to allow for, we understand there's a public safety commitment that needs to be done, and say, i.e. guardrail, ballards, we'll work with staff, you know, through the TAC process, and work with the state and the feds, or the county, to put whatever we can put
well,
in that area.
I like where you're going. I think if we phrase it as simply as our preference is a guardrail, if because of county jurisdiction, a guardrail is not practical, we will allow bollards or the curbs with approval.
With approval from who?
From us. So
For the town.
you wouldn't, or the town,
I'd give
yeah.
those guys permission, I'd give
Yeah, I
them
was gonna
authority.
say,
Yeah.
you don't want us to-
So you would delegate that approval authority
Yeah,
to
so you
staff.
wouldn't just arbitrarily go out and say, well, we can't do this, so we've decided to do
You guys
this.
don't like this?
You-
All right.
You go
Yeah,
to,
I'm comfortable with that. And sorry, I didn't mean to cut
No,
you
you're fine.
off. I wasn't thinking at it from an alternative standpoint.
Right, I wasn't either.
You know, I was just thinking straight up guardrails, and you know, and sitting here looking at it, it may not be. So what the county was going to do was directly over a culvert pipe, but if we're looking at basically in that taper coming back into the lane, that's going to be somewhat away from.
I think you're still gonna be in the 100
You,
feet.
you
I,
think so?
I would think so.
Okay. So.
Just, I was just saying, if you just
Yes, we can do
using
a
my
study
memory
and
of
say
how
it's
that
not,
is
but-
written out on the stuff, I think you're still farther out.
If that's how the commission wants to go, I'm comfortable with that. I mean, obviously, you know, our engineer will look at it and you know, toss back and forth some different ideas and things like
Anything
that.
other than ballards, if the county doesn't allow ballards or guardrails, we'll work with the town on an approved substitute public safety measure.
I'm fine with that.
yeah, as long as there's something there
Yeah,
that
that's fair.
can be approved.
Okay, well, let's finish this off then, but, and I'm not suggesting this will be the outcome, I rather doubt that it would be. But in the event that you can't win the approval of the town of an alternative to guardrail, right? Then we're back to the entrance design that was approved in the original plat, because that's the only place we have to go. I mean, I don't know how else.
Did that have a guardrail?
No, it was the channelized turn lanes and all that other kind of stuff that you're trying to move away from.
Yeah.
I guess if we're gonna do it like we're talking about, you know, this thing sort of sort of coming together as we talk through it, right? But if we're gonna look at these plans, and if the inclination on the part of the commission is to approve this amended plat with this revised entrance design, entrance improvements, right? And we're tying a condition to it, which is a guardrail, or if a guardrail is not possible or can't be approved by the other agencies whose approval is needed, that you would ultimately propose something to the town in lieu of that, and it would have to be approved administratively by staff, right?
That's fair.
Okay, but then we need to consider the possibility, even if we think it's remote, we need to consider the possibility that they don't approve it. That what you're able to do,
Well, I guess.
and if they don't,
Can we go back to saying it'll either be a curb or?
well, that's what I'm getting at. I don't know. I mean, that's the other alternative, is to put something definite in there as this, if not that, then this, if not that, then this. I don't know whether you all are willing to commit to that or not, but that's kind of what I'm getting at.
Do
is-
that, and then if none of the above works because of FEMA or whatever the case, then we are able to continue to talk about it. If you think about a regular 10-foot path running down wherever, Honey Creek or wherever, wherever you've got this, they don't have guardrails and paths, and those are, faster roads, and there is no public safety measure in between, right? There might be as little as 10 feet between the path or less, the path and the edge of the roadway. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't have it, but if it shouldn't destroy it, it shouldn't take down a whole neighborhood that we can't have it, I guess is my opinion. Because it's done every day in a lot of places. Absolutely, do we want to have it? If we can have it, if we can make it work, and we can work with the county to make it happen, absolutely, we're willing to put it in. And short of putting a row of arborvitaes in there to help deter people from going there on the culvert side, I mean, there's other things to discuss that,
And I will say, I think I know where Adam was going with the channelized left turn lanes and the ballards. Something that, to be honest with you, we probably overlooked. That even those channelized left turns, with the way the A-cell, D-cell lanes are for that, they're just as close as they were. We should have had a safety measure on those as well. I don't know, as from a safety side of things, I don't know that I would be any more comfortable.
and here's the other problem, we're going back and reverting to the plat that was approved before. I can't put that in, according to what the highway department's engineers telling me, is there's gonna be no way that FEMA's gonna allow us to extend that culvert.
So,
We're gonna be able to do ballards or a curb.
Whoa,
I would think so.
okay,
I hear you.
not question that, but part of what we have to work through here is, if none of those work, where does that leave us? Because you don't want to be down here every month, right? And what we have right now is an approved plat showing channelized turn lanes. We know what those improvements are. That's what has been approved now.
Sure.
You're asking for something else to be improved instead of that. We're saying, I think we're probably going to say, okay, but we got to have something here, and we're talking about different options, but we need to consider the possibility that none of those work. And if that happens, then where are we, right? And in the absence of something else, we're back where we started, which is the approved plat that you have now. I'm not saying that because I'm trying to hold you. I'm just saying procedurally,
Yeah.
that takes us back to the starting point.
And I don't know that, I think, let's just play that out. Let's say that happened. To me, I would like the wording to be ballard, curb, or other approved measure, because maybe something gets invented in the next 2 years. Or you guys say, yeah, plant a row of arbor, whatever it may be. Give the town staff some ability to work with us on a solution. And if we can't come to a solution, I think we have to come back here and ask for some relief on that channelized left turn.
That's okay.
Because the county won't, we're
That's
not
okay.
going to be allowed to extend the culvert to do that.
But I think if we exhaust all of those and it can't be worked out, then I think where that places you is back at the entrance improvements of the plat that was approved last December, which is a channelized turn lane. And you always have the opportunity to come back here and ask for a change. But I don't know how we can look farther out than we're looking
You can't.
tonight.
I think what we have to do in that scenario, if all of that happened, I think we'd come in, we'd have to bring data and information showing there's no possible way we can do this generalized left turn. And so we need relief somehow, and maybe we all just have to put our heads together. That's saying that we can't figure out.
No,
some
either,
other
but I think, I don't know what else we can do
I don't think
tonight
we
to get, I don't think we can get, I'm gonna say, excuse me, farther down the road than that tonight. And I think the only way to address that if it happens, and I think it's unlikely, that all of those
I agree.
options are gonna get stricken.
I agree.
Then I think it does set you back where we were, and you're gonna have to come ask for some other relief
I
there.
agree with that.
Well,
And I don't know how to make it any more user-friendly than that.
We can't.
Okay.
something else to consider too, and this is a question for you. How comfortable are you with Centerpoint? How do you feel Centerpoint's going to react? Because we don't have the authority or permission as of right yet to even do the blister lane.
I think they're gonna be positive. I mean,
Okay.
again, I've dealt with Maggie on a couple of other issues, and she's been always, shooting straight with me, and so until I back it down and understand exactly where it is.
What's the deal? They'll let you get up right against it, but not over it? Is that kind of?
That's kind of what she's saying. is that-
And to me, if whatever motion we need to make needs to have in there that all this is dependent on Centerpoint.
That's kind of where I was going with that. So there's kind of two caveats there.
Which I don't know. I mean, I guess we could put it in a motion. I don't know that it really would matter because if we approve it the way it is now to put it in, and Centerpoint doesn't allow them,
Can't do it.
they can't do it anyways.
Right.
So it doesn't really matter. It's not like they could do anything
Either way.
either way. They can't go through and change and say, well, we're going to do a 9-foot blister, so we're 2 feet farther away. No, that's not what we've approved. So
Can we allow, let me ask you this, again, thinking down the road, if that were to happen and Centerpoint says you can only go 9 feet, whatever, or they won't let our blister go exactly where it needs to go on there. Can it be delegated again to the town, so we don't always have to keep coming back here and asking everybody, just have it go back to Matt and Dwayne, but where if we can work out a solution with them, that's considered a small variation, that's okay. And if it becomes a bigger issue, then yeah, let's come back here, but
I would only consider something like that if, and I'm okay with you guys making that decision, because I know you're gonna do it in the best interest of the town. But if you get something from Centerpoint or whoever, and if it's in writing that absolutely says, no, you are not going to do this, then okay, that gives us something that, if we have remonstrance, we can say, we did our best, they did their best to get this done, but outside sources would not bend.
I mean, none of this for us is gonna be, we don't wanna change anything. If Centerpoint, if FEMA, if whoever is in control of all these uncontrollable pieces dictates you can't do this, my goal is to hopefully give these guys a little flexibility so we're not nickel and diming everybody on here every time we have those kind of changes. And if it's something, look, I trust these guys, as I know you do, to be able to say, yeah, I'm not comfortable, we probably need to go back to commission, and let's bring it to everybody. If it's something that creates that bit of uncomfortable feeling, we're happy to come do this.
And I'm okay with wording it, actually, I like the way you worded it a little better with the bollards, the
ballards, the curb, or
other
approval, or,
yes,
other approved
because it may
measures.
come down to arborvitae's, or something along that line. If
Hardy.
Yeah.
Arborvitae's, really
Yeah.
strong one.
Yeah.
So, but that,
Yeah.
again, if the other two don't work, well, then you're right. Now we're back here again doing it because those were not approved, so.
Well, I think you always have that discretion, because in my opinion, it'd be something that's from the street side and the engineer that's monitoring it, you'll always have that decision to say, no, we need to, I need to get everybody else involved. I don't feel comfortable making it, so.
Yeah.
So regarding the Whiteland Road entrance, you all have seen it. I just want to make sure that you all are aware of what they're asking for. There are some decreases in the distances from what our construction standards require. There was some talk and some working through what Gradison has proposed is exactly that. It works, it fits in there, and is at this current juncture the best possible solution. We are getting the blister lane in there. The taper back into it is 25 feet shorter, but those are things that are uncontrollable due to the bridge. So I just wanted to make sure you all are aware of that for the Whiteland Road entrance.
You're saying based off our construction?
Based off our construction standards, yes. So that
The thing I'm thinking is
Which are
for,
up to, if I remember correctly, like a 45-mile-an-hour road.
yeah.
Yes, I think so. I think that's what it says.
And this is in theory.
Yeah.
thing I'm thinking as far as Whiteland Road is the chances of having a ton of traffic trying to get in and out of there all at the same time at rush hour may not be too bad. So if we're losing the 25 feet, I don't think that's insurmountable.
And it is just.
There has to be
It's on the
something.
passing side.
Yeah,
Yep.
there's
So-
got to be something there.
We have
though.
the stacking side there.
Yeah.
Right, to be able to get from a safety standpoint, to be able to get around those turning left.
Right.
Into the neighborhood.
Yeah, from the other side.
So that part is still full, it's just the culvert side that we're having to squeeze a touch, 25 feet or so to get there. So it's 125 instead of
150. So I'm just asking out of ignorance. So going eastbound on Whiteland Road, if you can turn left into there, there will be a passing blister.
Passing blister, just not the full taper after you
Okay.
pass.
You have to bump back in just a little sooner.
Okay, that's,
But again, that standard set
That's
up to a
huge.
45-mile-an-hour road, and we're only gonna be, in theory, at a 30.
yeah.
And that was one of the questions. I know, Dwayne and I have talked with engineers. You've been doing this a lot longer than Dwayne and I have, and your experience and stuff. My understanding, the channelized left turn is to try to keep traffic from, moving. Obviously, the passing blister and all that stuff is the same thing. It's just, it's a little different.
We probably do more of these than we do
Okay.
the passing.
That's kind of what I was getting at. 'Cause like I said, you're up there in the big
This
city.
this all works. This looks good. And I agree with them. That we have so many trails. There's nothing between them. Just some grass. I mean, you can't foresee what could possibly happen. If your number's up, your number's up. I mean, I'm with you guys on this one. I understand where you're at.
Any other questions on all the other items?
So I think as far as Whiteland Road, we've kind of really discussed it. Any questions on Sawmill, I guess, because I know that was kind of some of the bigger change, especially the one on the north, not to go into the townhome, but the other one was a little bit bigger changes. Any questions on it?
No, it's like I told you after the meeting the other night. Sawmill Road was a no-go for me if there was not a way for people to get on and off of there safely. Because there's
Whiteland Road.
no Sawmill.
Oh,
Whiteland Road. I'm happy with what you did with Whiteland.
gosh.
But when we were talking about, you're just going to turn in off of Sawmill Road into the subdivision without a decel or anything, so at
I
least there's
know what
something
you're
there
saying.
now. So I feel a heck of a lot better about that.
I'm going through the list that was emailed, kind of itemized list of all the changes that he's already mentioned through. I don't think I've got any questions. There's the list, Lee, if you had any.
I think most of them are really actually clerical things that they did.
Or add this, or.
The water main, to me, that's an IAW thing. Obviously, going from a 10-12, I mean, it's not like they're decreasing. I could say, as far as the new sanitary connection that's on the north at Serena, the engineers have looked at, we've already checked to make sure there was capacity in that system that it would be traveling to. And that was confirmed to be fine there. think that's the other thing, the addition to the 3 lots in the townhome section, something to just to clarify, they are still within what was approved in the PUD ordinance as far as the amount of lots.
Yeah, you're still below what was originally approved by quite a bit, yeah.
Yes.
Have you, I'm sure you have seen, but do you have any drawings or pictures of what Fisher is proposing for their, just out of, I mean, I've seen what they did out in McCordsville, and those are extremely
Yeah,
nice.
I don't know if it's exactly that same product. They have 4 or 5 different townhomes.
Okay,
They all kind of run in the same line, it's just they have different layouts. And so this one, I think, is different than McCordsville, because the one in McCordsville we're doing in Zionsville, right?
Correct.
So this one is different because it's 24 on one side, 24 on the other side, everything in the middle is 20 foot wide. So it is a different product, I think, than McCordsville. I have not personally been through the McCordsville, I've seen them and all that.
It's nice.
I haven't gone in. But I know in our Zionsville project with them that we're about ready to get started on, is some buildings are all 24, some buildings are all 20s. So I think this setup is a mix where they keep the 24s on the ends and the 20s in the middle. So it's gotta look somewhat similar, I would think.
Really the other stuff as far as like the adjusted storm sanitary and stuff, we've actually already been in the process of looking at some of the construction plans already other than the entrances. The engineers, they haven't brought any concern up of, the removal of the pond or anything like that. And to be quite honest with you, it's just, to me, it's nicer if we can get away without having to have it. It's one less thing that we possibly may have to maintain.
Dry ponds are a pain.
Yes.
So there were a couple other questions that I asked to the developer. One of the questions was on the previous version of this, and I think Councilman Purdy mentioned it at the last meeting as well. There was not a easement provided for the 8-foot trail behind the townhomes. And if you'll look on this plat here, it's back on there. You can see it on sheets C20. What'd you say? Or did you say?
201.
Yep, C201. You'll
That
see.
15 footer leaving the
Yep.
townhome area heading up east, or heading up west.
And I believe even the same thing, I can't remember if it was missing too, but there's one along Grassy Creek as well, not just East Grassy Creek. So both areas that was mentioned at the last meeting of a concern that weren't there are there now. And I guess I'll ask you this, Lee. I mean, regardless if we're all human. If there's something that we may have missed that's not in here on the primary plat, if approved, if there is commitments that are in the PUD ordinance, that will
They're still in effect, just like they,
okay.
Yeah.
just the same.
Okay, I just wanted to double check, because I promise you that there's probably little things like that, not seeing an easement or something like that were in the commitments, but weren't on here.
Yeah, so we worked through all those details in the construction documents, and there's gonna be times that easement's gotta move around a little bit based upon the final designs, so.
Guess any more questions or comments up here? We only got one person public on us asking you have any,
Oh, sorry. Go
you
ahead.
have any questions, comments?
When are they gonna cut the grass?
Is that not done?
they did.
We cut the strip.
As
Yeah.
I say, so it was basically that 15, 20 foot, which I know that's what we
20,
had.
I think 25 foot is what,
What we had
Yeah.
on the roads and along the roads.
Traffic was bad, so I needed to.
yeah. No, they cut the 25 foot back, so it looks better. It's still rough, but it's
We'll be
construction ground.
Again, as we work through this, we're
Yeah.
gonna be in there to knock down before we start construction anyway,
Yeah.
so we'll get in there.
My-
We're gonna take care of that right away.
And one other question, I know this was in an email, and since that was brought up there, I know talking with Brian, I think you guys had talked about, because one of the other concerns was the foundation of the house, especially
Yeah.
being that. I know that there was scheduled to have equipment come in to start filling that.
Yeah, he's supposed to be here this week.
Okay, all right.
I know the rain got on a couple of the past couple of weeks. He's lost at least a day the last couple of weeks, so
Okay.
it may be the end of the week, but I know
Okay.
he's planning on being here.
I don't know if we just expected the fire department to do more. They came in and.
Well, either way though, the problem is there's been kids over there,
Totally.
but that open
Oh,
basement,
We're gonna get it. Don't-
yeah, we're, does it
Totally
look,
get
it looks
I think-
nasty,
I'm just trying to
but,
explain.
yeah.
At the same time.
Trying to explain the gap of why it
Sure.
wasn't done initially, because the fire department basically said we were gonna take care of the demo and everything. We just assumed they were taking care of everything, so as
Oh,
soon as we
okay.
heard, we got somebody scheduled up, so we'll definitely get that fixed.
We had to wait for a minute because of IDEM.
Oh, yeah. Well, at our last council meeting, there was a lady that lives across the street, and when she mentioned the grass, and she mentioned that she had just seen young teenagers over there. Of course, it's something cool to go play at, and, you know, you don't, and we don't want somebody getting hurt over there, so that was the issue with it. But-
All right, anybody make any type of motions?
May I just take a crack at it? Would you mind?
Hey, you'll be able to say it better than me.
So I think the motion would be to approve the preliminary plat of the Pleasant Creek PUD with the last revision date of July 22nd, 2025. Subject to the condition that if the guardrail shown on the plat along the south edge of Whiteland Road near the entrance into the subdivision cannot be constructed because of lack of approval from other agencies with jurisdiction over this, that Gradison would propose alternatives that would meet the approval of the town's staff, and the plan commission is delegating to the town staff and engineer authority to approve alternatives in lieu of the guardrail, and on the condition that the that changes consistent with GRW's comments for the second drive into the wastewater treatment plant would be included on the construction plans. I'm reading your email. That is the 15-foot easement on the south side of East Grass Creek back on there. Is that what we're talking about?
Yep.
There's another
That
one.
the asphalt, 8-foot asphalt path is not big. We will try to get that added. Is that added?
Yes.
The sidewalk along tying to Sawmill Road on the north side of the creek, is that added in this version?
Yep,
Yeah.
it is.
There was one
And
other-
Serena Lane is connected.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
The only thing I'd change from what you said is you said the guardrails on the south side, it's south and north side.
South and north
Yeah,
side.
nice, north side.
Okay. Does that get it?
Yeah. Good with me.
So moved.
So you made a motion, anybody
I
want
made a motion to what he said.
Anybody, you want a second? I will second it. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? 4 affirmative.
Thank you guys very much. Appreciate you with us on this.
Thanks for going back to work on it.
So before we adjourn, I was thinking of one other thing, and this is a question for you. I think it would behoove the town to drop that speed limit to 30 mile an hour.
Okay.
Does it need to go through the plan commission to vote to pass a favorable recommendation to the town council?
For a speed limit?
Yep.
No.
Okay.
This is a town council function. Okay.
But it might be important for the street superintendent to recommend that to the town council.
Well, that is
If you can find it.
that is the intent.
I think the street superintendent should have that on the agenda for the next meeting.
That sounds right.
let's get that done right
Maybe
away.
I'll see
Sooner
about
rather than later.
an ordinance to,
Yeah,
yep.
Well, appreciate it very much.
thank you guys,
No other business, the meeting is adjourned.
thank
All right,
you.
have a good night.